Hi, I am Nora, the Zingy AI Whiz. In this video, we will demonstrate Zingy's dynamic content features. We will create a page that displays a list of cities in a grid-based format as shown here. We start by adding a single column layout. We will then remove the sample text and add our button element. To change the button's text, we will go into the settings and edit the button content. Now we will add another single column layout where the grid of cities will be displayed. We will remove the column element at this point because we will be adding columns containing the city information dynamically. We will also configure the row element to display 4 columns per row for desktops, 2 columns per row for tablets, and a single column per row for mobile devices. Next, we add the data design element. The data design element will be used to create the design of each cell in the grid for displaying the city information. Each cell consists of a layout column element that will be added to the row element we configured earlier. We will add the Bootstrap CSS class to set a bottom margin for this column. To the layout column, we will first add an image element that will show a picture of the city. Since the image location is dynamic, we will configure the image location placeholder and give it the name City Image. We will also set the maximum height of the image to 200 pixels using the Design tab. Now we will add a text element to display the city name. Again, since the name is dynamic, we will configure the placeholder and call it city name. Since we need a similar element to display the city's population, we will clone the text element and modify it. Finally, we will add a link element that will take the user to a web page that will be set up later in this demo. The link will be configured to open in a separate tab and will have the placeholder City Link. We will also give the link a teal outline colored button look and set its text to say Info. We have now completed the design of our page. Before going on to the next step, we will save our page. Now that we have our page along with the grid cell template, we'll be using Zingy's page flow editor to add logic for populating the dynamic content of the page. When we click the load button, our page flow logic will dynamically load the list of cities using the data design element we added earlier as a template to display them. We will start by adding a block representing the function which we'll use to load the city information data. We will call this function load cities. Now we will add the mouse/keyboard action block to handle the user clicking the load button we added to the page earlier. When the load button gets clicked, we will invoke the load cities function. For the list of cities, we created a demo JSON file for this video. The JSON file contains the city information data in the format shown here. Remember that your data can also be loaded from your app's database, API calls, or other sources depending on your app's requirements. We will now implement our load cities function using the HTTP GET block to retrieve the demo JSON file. Next, we will add a block representing the function that will display the cities we retrieved. This function will have a parameter that will contain the list of cities. We will call this function display cities. We will invoke the display cities function when the HTTP GET block retrieves our JSON file successfully. The HTTP data block represents the object containing the city's information. We will use the getObject property block and access its city's property and pass that as a parameter to the function. Now we are ready to implement our display cities function. We will start by using the setContent block and clear out any existing content in our designated row element. If we do not do this, each time the load button gets clicked, the same cities will be added again to the designated row element. Next, we will use the list loop block to iterate over all the cities in our cities list. To render each city, we will once again use the setContent block, but this time with its configuration set to append. This will ensure that the cities get added to the designated row element one after another as the loop iterates. For the content of each city, we will use the content from data design block with the data design element we created earlier as a template. This block automatically provides value parameters for the dynamic placeholder fields we had added. We will use the city data for setting the value of the placeholder fields. The getObject property block is used to access the properties from the city data. The name property contains the city's name. Since the city name is unique, we will also use that as the value for the ID parameter for generating the city information. Similarly, image_URL contains the URL of the city's picture. The population property contains the population, and lastly Wikipedia_URL contains the URL of the Wikipedia page for the city. With this, we have fully implemented the logic flow for our page. Before moving on to the next step, we will save our work. Now it's time to test our page and see how it works. To do this, we will be using the page preview feature of the Zingy page editor. This feature enables you to test and evaluate the appearance and functionality of your page across different screen sizes, including desktop, tablet, and mobile. Here we see our page in desktop mode. Let's go ahead and click our load button. We see the list of cities are loaded and rendered. Since we are in desktop mode, the grid contains 4 cities per row. Clicking on the info button for one of the cities is correctly taking us to its Wikipedia page. When we switch to the tablet view, the Zingy responsive design feature automatically shows the cities in a 2 cities per row grid. Similarly for mobile devices, the grid is rendered showing 1 city on each row. That's it. It's really that easy. For detailed documentation, visit our documentation portal. To see more videos about Zingy, visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel. To receive news and updates about our products, follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn. For information about product features and pricing, visit our website zingy.ai. Thanks for watching.